So this is my post-fight review for Gary Antuanne Russell versus Alberto Puello. Puello did an excellent job in this fight, trying to be a technician, more of a boxer than a brawler. He's naturally a boxer. Gary Antoine Russell came into the fight not being overly aggressive. He's usually pedal to the metal in the first couple of rounds, but he was more so stalking, not really trying to put himself in a position where he's just looking for a knockout, which was smart. You know, Puyo's a very good fighter, so that wasn't a guy that you actually go in there and just try to run over or try to take advantage of. He's definitely a big time a very good boxer. But if we're gonna look at the situation overall, Gary Russell didn't stick to the jab as much as he should have. I feel like Puyo took a big advantage early on throwing that jab, being consistent. He was throwing that left hook, right hand to the body. So it was a lot of things that Gary Russell could not just keep up with overall. And if Puyo didn't stick to the game plan overall, he would have ended up losing that fight. But when he was throwing that left hand, that right hook to the body, Puyo was doing an excellent job, man. And Gary Russell kind of caught himself in a position where he was looking for the left hand a little too much. Yeah, Antoine Russell definitely. I felt like the jab was there, but it was too much. It was not enough power behind it. Instead of, I guess it was less quantity and more quality should have been put behind it. But he did a very good job in the fight boxing. It was a very close fight to me. I'm just gonna keep it real. A lot of people can get on here and cap and everything else. It was a very close fight to me. I think he did an excellent job. He was not really sleeping on Puyo. He did an excellent job with him. But Puyo came to fight, man. He really was a guy who wasn't gonna get he wasn't gonna get lazy. He did have some trouble in the middle rounds. He did have some trouble in the middle rounds. The referee had to basically warn him and let him know. He actually had a point taken away, so it was a situation where Puyo was definitely in a struggle mode right then. He had a point deducted for holding in the ninth round. Like people gotta understand that. He had a point deducted in the ninth round. So he was doing a lot of holding around the time. And when Gary Antoine Russell was free, he was letting his hands fly on Puyo. But Puyo was doing an excellent job uh throwing that 1-2 and jabbing, then countering with that left hand. And Gary Antoine Russell, he wasn't countering enough back and forth. He was initiating, but he wasn't countering. He was going to the body, but Puyo, he stuck to the game plan. He got early rounds, and he stole some late rounds throughout the fight. Now, if Gary Russell would have been able to do a lot more to the body on Puyo wouldn't have been able to move around in that fight. But as boxers, man, they gotta stop letting certain guys off the hook when they're just sitting in one spot or when they're moving around and you're not really putting that jab on them. Even if they're moving or sitting, you can put that jab on them and you can counter off whatever he's doing. But Puyo was taking advantage of the aggressiveness of Gary Russell and tried to have him running into certain shots. And overall, it kind of backfired at the end of the day. But he did an excellent job, though. Nobody got dropped in the fight. The punches were flying. I feel like overall, it was just a bad approach to Gary Antoine Russell. The fight could have went either way. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie about it. But Puyo was a guy that people slept on. He was going against a guy with 100% KO rate, and he only has 50% KO rate. So a lot of people will overlook that situation. And also we had Gary Antoine Russell, who was looking to be the biggest threat at 140 with a victory in this fight. So Puyo, at that time right now, he was thinking, okay, so I'm going against the toughest guy in the division, so let me have an approach about it. And a thing I learned about Puyo recently is he's a guy that he won't try to do too much or try to go for a knockout when he doesn't do knockouts. He's a guy who stays in between his skills He doesn't go outside the lines. He doesn't try to do extra. Uh, his weaknesses aren't really out there because he don't really show his weaknesses. He don't try to do too much. He stays inside of his zone where he needs to be. And as far as the punches that he was landing, those are punches he lands in most of the fights. So I feel like most of the time, even with Gary Antuanne Russell, he got away from what he normally does overall and how he break down guys. I don't feel like the light was too big for him. I just felt like certain things just didn't add up as far as overall the strategy and how he was going about certain things. But I feel like he did a good job in the fight. It was a very close fight. Could easily be a rematch. Could easily see things going the other way. But Puyo did an excellent job, man. I feel like fans kind of need to start looking at certain guys and respecting them. I think Puyo was on Pro Box or something like that recently. But they got to start respecting the fighters who actually don't have a lot of knockouts because those are some of the most dangerous guys. Look at how Paro and all these other guys are tonight. But with Gary Antuanne Russell, he has to go to the body a lot more. And then Puyo, he was taking advantage. If he would have took his legs away, he would have been good. But congratulations to Puyo, man. He pulled out a huge upset. Very huge upset. But that's all I got. Like and subscribe.